I just wanted to spend a few minutes with you to collect some information so that I could write a feature story in our online publication.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Truth Seekers Journal.
Okay. The Truth Seekers Journal?
Right.
Okay.
We've been publishing it now for about a year and a half,
Okay.
and it started out as just a place for me to put my work,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's become a little bit of a passion.
Good.
I found that I can write about things that I like, or want to learn about. For example, I thought I knew what the Dred Scott decision was, but then when I started researching
Mm-hmm.
to write about it, I didn't know the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And as it turns out, I didn't know the whole story about a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I didn't know that Wilma Rudolph was born crippled
Okay.
and became an Olympic champion.
Uh-huh.
So these are some of the things that I've learned in doing the writing. So when I saw you up on stage, I didn't know who you were.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to learn. So
Speaking of learning, that's my living room, that picture right there.
that's your living room.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All righty. So we'll just jump right in.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I noticed right off the bat is that you have a lot of work with Maynard Jackson. And in fact, I scraped a picture off of your website that Maynard Jackson is in. And
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out who some of those people were. It looks like Michael Lomax is off to his left there.
Right.
And but I didn't know the rest of the people, especially the person he's sitting down looking at.
Okay. That is Duke Pearson. He's a famous jazz he was a famous jazz musician as well as an arranger. A lot of people hired him to arrange for them, a lot of famous jazz musicians. Right? But he was an Atlanta resident. This was during the first Atlanta Jazz Festival when they had the opening reception for the Atlanta Jazz Festival.
Uh-huh.
And Duke came, and Maynard was doing the opening talk. And at that time, Micah was working for Maynard, all right? And so these were people from the staff of the Bureau of Cultural Affairs
Okay.
and City Hall.
Okay.
And that's what that picture was.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And this is, I think, Oscar Peterson, I think that one. Yes.
So I met Maynard Jackson in the early 90s,
Mm-hmm.
and I had the opportunity to introduce him during one of the breakfast meetings for the Georgia Society of CPAs.
Okay.
So I went to his office, and he talked to me like he had known me my whole life.
That's how it was.
And it made me feel so special to have the opportunity to introduce him at that event.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the greatest moments in my life.
He brought me to Atlanta in '76.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. So let's just jump right in. As it relates to photography,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that you see that makes a moment worth capturing?
People.
People.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter who they are or what they're doing.
If I feel like they're doing something of interest, all right, I do a picture of it.
So when I look around here in your studio,
Mhm.
I see a lot of what I would call moments in time.
Mhm.
They were special moments
Mhm.
at the time.
Mhm.
How did you manage to be at those places at the right moment?
By any means necessary. I found a way,
You found a way.
yeah.
Okay.
If, if I have knowledge of something happening somewhere, and I think it's something that I would like to capture,
Hmm.
I was there and I captured it.
You were there and you captured it. So you've grown a few whiskers since you did that photo of Maynard Jackson. Now, do you still get out there and capture those moments?
Not as much, but I still do.
You still do. Okay.
Mhm.
So, for example, I saw an image of Janetta Cole, Pearl Cleage, and a few other ladies, and I think the title of the photograph was Sisterhood.
Sister Love.
Sister Love. Okay.
Mhm.
Where was that? What was going on with that?
Well, that was at the inauguration of Janetta Cole as the first woman president of Spelman College. And the black writers decided to do a tribute to her. And so they came, 9 of them came to Spelman, and they all did pieces to her, you know. And it was beautiful. And and what happened was, after the event was over inside the hall in the building,
Mm-hmm.
I got Sue Ross, who is in her own right a great photographer, and I would say a mentee. And we rounded them up, you know, rounded the ladies up and got them outside on the steps. And once we got them out there lined up, you know, in order, and you know, they all looked like, you know, proper women supposed to look for a picture, you know, okay? And I told Sue, I said, go ahead and get your picture, you know, and Sue went on and shot her picture. And then I got my camera and I put it vertically, and I saw up above their heads, you see those faces,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And I got my camera vertical, and I said to them, I said, you know what? I said, y'all look like you're waiting to get hung. And they all bust out laughing. Pow! That's how I got that.
Okay.
Right.
Because they're all laughing.
Yeah, right. That's how I got that picture.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So one of the things you've done, you've photographed a lot of historic figures and everyday people, and I know you said that the thing that you like is just people.
Mm-hmm.
And what is it about the people that makes you want to photograph? Because I've talked to some other photographers who like things that don't talk back.
Mm-hmm. They've never been, none of them were none of my students, you know. Teaching people who weren't interested in doing what I do, okay? So that's how a lot of the photographers that are mentees of mine or follow me, you know, other than young people, you know, other than children. I taught a lot of children too, but like you see the pictures with the Klan and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I took students out to those rallies, Klan rallies, you name it, African Liberation Day, and all of those instances, what had to do with black history and black culture.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you see a lot of black music, right? Documenting black musicians, you'll see, you know, were my thing, and I found a way to get to events and so on. So even to the point of sometimes making my own press cards. I would make press cards and so on and so forth for certain events and stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. But I was there. You know, you see this one right there. those people there, they were important to me.
Okay.
You know, Duke Ellington, Count Basie, and Ella Fitzgerald, and all those people, very important to me.
Now, were they all here in Atlanta?
No,
So you traveled to a lot of places to see them, I take it?
yes, to a lot of, for a lot of them, right. hmm Those pictures there, a lot of those were taken at New Haven, Connecticut. I was a photographer in residence there with an organization at Yale called the Black Workshop.
Mm-hmm.
And BEST, the Black Environmental Studies Team, Yale School of Art and Architecture.
Okay.
I worked with them. And so there was a program that was started by a jazz musician, and he's also a professor of philosophy, Willie Ruff.
Okay.
All right. Him and his partner Dwight Mitchell, who known as the Mitchell-Ruff Duo.
Mm-hmm.
They started this program there called the Duke Ellington Fellowship. And they would bring in a lot of the older jazz musicians and blues musicians and so on and so forth. And because I had a relationship with Willie, I had access to when he brought them in there to document them and so on and so forth. So I was able to capture people that he brought in. And what he would do a lot of times when he brought them in to film them and things of that sort, he would also have a performance. Have the artist do a performance, and he would, and those performances were for school kids. He would bring children into the hall there. It was called Woolsey Hall, and have them do a performance and a workshop and a talk. Let them children know who they were and about their lives, and so on and so forth. So I was able to document those too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speaking of kids,
Mhm.
tell me about your photography classes, or for beginners. What would you tell a little kid that comes in and wants to understand photography? How do you walk them through that? What are the basics that you tell them?
I would first let them look at pictures,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and get them interested in what they're seeing, all right? And then I would have them just do some pictures first, and then we would discuss that. Then we would start teaching. I would start teaching, you know. And like for instance, I taught a course 2 years ago at Emory in their art and social justice program.
Mm-hmm.
I projected 100 of my photographs from my series called Street Signs, all right? And those street signs were when I went to marches, rallies, things of that sort. I would, people, when there's a march or a rally or something, people who were not even interested or there about what the subject might have been that people were marching for or against, here they would come with their signs, all right? Because of the crowd and people and so on and so forth. And then I would document all of the people with their various signs. So what I did in that course, when I was teaching them, I Also, I was co-teaching with a English teacher, people who taught English and writing and so on and so forth, who were professors at Emory. I would bring in maybe 10 books at each session. We would, from my collection, we would like have a class Tuesday and Thursday, and I would just pick out, 10 books, people of African descent, all right, and I would have the students look at those books, and we would discuss them, and the professor who I was working with was very knowledgeable too, in terms of Black history.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as a final project for the class, the professor who I was working with, she said it was all right for me to discuss what that final project would be. I had the students, I said, look, I want you to make or find a sign representative of something of your concern, all right? Now, these students were from all over the world,
Mm-hmm.
all right? And so they made signs and took pictures of the signs, and then we projected their pictures on the wall and had them talk about, on the screen,
Mm-hmm.
and had them talk about what their interest was.
Mm-hmm.
People, they had all different kinds of things, but, it made them think and look at things, in their life that they otherwise would not have done anything along those lines. It was just something that was, about them. So that they then later on, Emory, when the class was over, at the end of the class, we had a program with the students and their signs. We projected them and everything, and the college president and all people from the college came. And then later on, they had an exhibit of their pictures with my pictures,
Mm-hmm.
with some of my photographs. It was an exhibition at the gallery at Emory.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite a positive program.
Mm, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That must have been real thrilling for you and them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are about to go photograph an event or rally, what's your prep? What do you do?
Get my camera, and I'm gone.
Grab your camera and go.
Yes,
Have you ever gotten to an event and discovered that your battery was dead?
yes, I certainly have. If it was an event that I had that I was going to need during the days of black and white film, and had occasions of my flash being dead or get dead really quick, if I had to use flash. Let me show you the alternative to that. Just a type one hot second. This camera here shoots thousands of pictures. That's a Nikon Z.
Okay.
You see this?
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's the difference today versus back then. Now, I didn't let that happen much.
I got to an event once, not very long ago,
Mm-hmm.
and didn't have my memory card in the camera.
Okay.
And before that particular event, I had straps on the camera that had a little pocket for an extra memory card.
Mm-hmm.
And I had just recently changed that strap.
Change the strap.
I
And left
changed
the
it
memory card in
in the
it.
strap.
And the other memory card was in the computer or something, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So that was a tricky situation. I just happened to have my wife bring me a memory card.
That's Andrea, come on in. Yeah.
Good morning.
Okay.
So that's my little secret of
Mhm.
being not prepared. S- Now, you mentioned the days of black and white.
Mhm.
And I've seen a lot of your work in black and white, even some of the more recent work.
Mhm.
Do you just look at it and say, I think this is going to look better in black and white than it does in color?
Oh yeah, often.
What is it that makes a photograph better in black and white versus
It
color?
has, for me, it's the interest in the picture. If it's a scene or something that may look all right in color or whatever, or if it has a lot of color in it, I would leave it as color. But black and white pictures, a lot of times, you see my black and white pictures, I want to make you see what I want you to see in black and white, okay? If a picture, is of interest, you see that one? With all of the afros,
Mhm.
I wanted you to see those pictures like that, okay? I didn't want you to see a nice picture. I wanted you to get the interest that I saw.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Like for instance, these jazz musicians and so on and so forth. Those pictures call for black and white.
Mhm.
There's really nothing really colorful, in those pictures when I shot them.
So by taking the color out, it seems to bring the character of the characters
Right.
out in the photo.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So right over your shoulder there, you have Coretta Scott King, Dexter King, Bernice.
Mm-hmm.
What was going on at that particular event? Do you remember?
That was the first public event around his birthday. All right, and this was on his birthday, and that's when everybody was talking about celebrating his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And so Ebenezer had a press conference like they always have on his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
One of the newspapers had the family, go up there and they wanted to take a picture of him with the memorial. That was before they moved it. I mean, that's before they put her there with him, and
Okay.
okay, so they moved it over, all of that, and so Miss Mrs. King and Martin was up there. And so I got Yoki. That's what we call her, Yolanda.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we call her. I got Yoki. I said, get your brother and sister, y'all go up there too. So they all went up there, and I got that picture.
So obviously she knew you, if you could call her Yoki.
Yeah, she. You know, I did photographs for a lot of the artists in the city.
Uh-huh.
The community theater programs and stuff.
Okay.
And that's how she got that name. You know, that's it. Everybody called her Yoki. Yeah, you know. Yolanda, yeah.
Okay.
They called her that. And so, yes, she knew me from that.
So let's step back a little bit.
Mhm.
What is it that made you pick up the camera for the first time, and what got you really interested in photography?
A $10 bet. What happened was, I went to boot camp in the Navy in 1952, and we were behind the barracks on a Saturday morning, shooting dice for nickels and dimes. And I rolled a 10, and this guy said, bet you $10 you can't make it. I said, bet. I didn't have $10, him either. And I rolled the 10. I said, give me my money. He said, just a minute. He went in the barracks. I thought he was going there to get me $10. He comes back and he had this little yellow box. And he said, here, this is the camera. Hold this to payday, and I'll give you your $10. I said, okay, great. I took it and then put it in my locker. Payday came around. We didn't get but $10.
Okay.
You didn't get no paycheck, you know, when you first went into boot camp. They got what they call a flying 10. That was so you could go and get cigarettes and razor blade and whatever it is with that $10. Okay, that was it. So we got our $10, and he said, just keep the camera. I ain't giving you my $10. I need this and that. You know, he said, I ain't taking no pictures. Yeah, he said, my mother told me to bring that. I ain't taking no pictures. So, I guess it was about a week, maybe 2 weeks later, this famous news guy, I forget his name, Walter Winchell, was supposed to be on the base. I said, well, I'm going to get some film. I'm going to take pictures of Walter Winchell. And I went over to the PX and bought a roll of film, and the guy there told me how to put it in the camera and stuff. And so Walter Winchell didn't come, and I got this film in the camera. And I started taking pictures of the guys and selling them to them for 50 cents. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to sit with me and share your passion and your stories
Mm-hmm.
and your life work.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.